All right, let's talk about the new NIST Cybersecurity Framework 2.0. Now, we're not just going to give you a dry definition. Nope, we're going to show you how to take this complex document and turn it into a real actionable playbook, one that finally gets your entire organization from the server room all the way to the C-suite speaking the same language when it comes to security.
So let's just kick things off with a question. When you hear the word cybersecurity, who do you think of? If your mind immediately jumped to the IT department huddled in a back room somewhere, well, you're in exactly the right place. Because that idea, that common assumption, is the very problem we're here to solve today.
I mean, just look at the difference. On the one hand, you have the old, siloed way of doing things. That's a recipe for disaster, right? High risk, teams that are totally misaligned, and real damage to your brand. But when you integrate security into everything you do, the whole organization becomes more resilient. You get a shared language, a shared understanding of risk, and everyone can finally pull in the same direction.
And this really gets to the heart of it. You've got your cybersecurity experts, your enterprise risk managers, and your HR and workforce teams. They're all supposed to be protecting the organization. The problem? They're often working from completely different playbooks, speaking languages that just don't translate to each other. They're not working together. They're just working next to each other.
And listen, this isn't just about some internal communication breakdown. That disconnect has very, very real consequences. We're talking higher costs, lost revenue, and serious damage to your reputation. This isn't just a tech problem, it's a fundamental business challenge. So how in the world do you fix this? Well, that's where NIST comes in. The best way to think about its cybersecurity framework is like a Rosetta Stone for risk management. It's the tool that creates that common language so everyone, from the tech team to the board members, can finally understand each other. Let's quickly break down the different languages we're trying to translate. First, you have Enterprise Risk Management, or ERM. This is the 30,000-foot view, you know? It's looking at all the big risks to the company, financial, operational, you name it, and seeing how they're all connected. Okay, now let's zoom in a little. We have Cybersecurity Risk Management, or CSRM. This is the specialized, technical language of protecting your IT systems and your data. It is absolutely critical, but it's so important to remember it's just one piece of that bigger risk portfolio we just talked about. And the third critical language? It's all about the people, workforce management. Because let's be real, you can have the most advanced technology and the best policies in the world, but if you don't have the right people with the right skills in the right seats, it's all for nothing.
And this is how it all clicks into place. The NIST Cybersecurity Framework, that wheel you see in the middle, it's not some separate fourth discipline. It's the bridge. It's the central hub that translates between enterprise risk, cyber risk, and your people strategy, tying them all together into one single, powerful approach.
Okay, so that's the theory. That's the what and the why. Now, let's get practical. Let's walk through a 5-step game plan that you can actually use to put this framework into practice. So here are the 5 steps. It's a pretty logical flow, right? You scope the project, you gather your info, you create a snapshot of where you are now, you analyze the gaps, and then you implement a plan to close them. We're really going to focus on the heart of this process, which is all about creating that profile and finding those gaps. At the very core of this whole thing is something called the organizational profile, and I absolutely love this analogy. Just think of it as your company's cybersecurity fitness plan. It's the tool you use to take an honest look at where you are today and then set a clear, achievable goal for where you need to be. And this visual explains it perfectly. You map out your current state, that's your baseline. You define your target state, that's the goal. The space in between, that's the gap. That gap becomes your roadmap. It's your to-do list. So let's put that in real terms. Creating your current profile is basically asking, where are we really at right now? No sugarcoating. Then your target profile asks the question, okay, based on our goals and the threats we face, where do we need to be? The whole process is about building that bridge between the two. So once you've identified that gap between where you are and where you want to be, how do you actually turn that into action? The focus now shifts to building a concrete plan, and we're going to zero in on one of the most important parts, closing the people gap. I mean, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? You've done all this hard work, you've done the analysis, you can literally see the gap. So now what? How do you actually build that bridge and get to your target? Well,
The very first step is to get organized. You use a simple tool like a risk register. As you can see here, you just document each risk, you give it a priority, high, medium, low, and most importantly, you assign an owner. That one small step creates accountability and makes the problem real.
Now that your people-related risks are all laid out, you can start to take action. And typically, you've got three main levers to pull. You can upskill your current employees, you can go out and recruit new talent to fill those specific gaps, or sometimes it's about reorganizing your teams to better match the skills you have with the risks you face. And here's a point I really want to drive home. This is not a one-and-done project. You don't just complete the framework and put the binder on a shelf. It's a living, breathing process. Like it says here, the finish line is a loop. And here is that loop in action. You manage the risk by actually implementing your plan. Then you step back and evaluate it. Did it work? Did we actually reduce risk? And based on what you learn, you adjust your strategy. It's a constant cycle of learning and improving.
It all comes down to this one simple idea. If you remember one thing from this, let it be this. Effective cybersecurity is a team sport. It is not just an IT problem. It takes everyone, your people, your processes, your tech, all working together, all speaking that same language.
So we're going to leave you with this final question to think about. What's the first, small, practical step your team can take, maybe as soon as tomorrow, to start bridging that disconnect and finally get everyone on the same page about risk?